What is up, YouTube? Back with another YouTube video, and we're here with a Season of the Witch Legend Lost Sector guide for the K1 crew quarters, which is located on the moon. Now, if you have trouble finding this, you're going to want to go to your destinations tab, go to the right side of your screen over here, the bottom right corner, go to the moon, and then spawn right here in Sanctuary. And then once you spawn in, all you have to do is go towards your left here. So if you just follow me, I'll show you where to go. And it's really not that hard to find it. You just got to go straight down here, and then you'll enter the new part of the map in a couple seconds. You can see the archer's line. Then we're just going to keep going straight down, kind of towards the Leviathan, as you can see in the background there. And we're just going to pass these AI. Hopefully they don't blow up my Sparrow. But as you pass by, kind of switch towards the right area here, and then you're going to see this little pathway that drifts off to the right. Go this way, and then follow this little road slash path, and then as you follow along, you'll enter the new area here. And when you enter here, just stay straight to your right. You're gonna see these kind of fallen bunkers, I guess you can call them, because they have the symbols on them or whatever. But you can see the Lost Sector icon right there, and you'll see it right here. Now if you don't see this banner or the icon on your map, that means you have to complete it normally. So drop down through this tunnel, and then you'll enter the Lost Sector at some point. You're going to see in the gameplay here in a couple seconds that it is going to say that I've entered the K1 crew quarters Lost Sector. And if it's your first time, you'll just have to run through, kill all the enemies, kill the boss, loot the chest at the end, and you'll unlock Legend and Master difficulty. So you can see K1 crew quarters, and there's the AI there, and then just go do what I said, and then you will have no problem unlocking Legend and Master difficulty. But now we're going to make our way back up top so we can go over the modifiers we have for this Lost Sector. Now we're going to go up here. We're almost there. You can see we're already back. And hopefully these AI won't shoot at me, but let's go for the modifiers. We have Shielded Foes, she'll face combatants with solar shields. Legend modifiers are locked loadout, extra shields. Equipment locked, limited revives, barrier and overload champions, arc threat 25% increase to incoming arc damage, hot knife, shanks now have solar shields, overcharged weapons, weapon overcharges from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity, kinetic weapons do increased damage when your subclass element matches an active surge, strand surge 25% bonus to outgoing strand damage, arc surge 25% bonus to outgoing arc damage, and then overcharged glaive a 25% bonus to glaive damage. Now, K1 crew quarters is recommended power 1830, but 1810 and above you should be fine. Enhancement core is uncommon, but if completed solo, exotic head armor is rare. So now we're going to get into the loadout. Now when it comes to loadout, strand subclass is what I have. Silk Strike with Marksman Dodge, Triple Jump, Threaded Spike, and Threadling Grenades. With Widow's Silk, Threaded Spectre, and then we have Thread of Generation, Thread of Evolution, Thread of Binding, and Thread of Continuity. Now when it comes to the weapons, Malfeasance is the kinetic weapon. Just Vorpal weapon on it. If you have Catalyst, it's going to do increased damage against champions, and then you're going to take advantage of the normal weapon surge, the kinetic damage increase, because you're rocking a strand subclass because it's matching with the active surge. Then on top of that, we're going to be using Lucky Pants, so that's going to give us increased damage and everything. So that, as well as this is going to be what stuns overload champions, as you can see. So you are going to need the overload hand cannon right here in the artifact slot in order to stun them. So we're going to use Malfeasance for that. Then our secondary is Shadow Price. Any arc auto rifle is going to work as long as it's arc. That way you get a bit of a damage buff, and preferably one with a large magazine size. That way you can break shields without having to worry about if you miss a couple of shots that the barrier champion is going to heal and stuff like that. But in order to use this, you will also need another artifact perk, which is the Barrier Pulse Rifle, which you can see right here. It's the first artifact slot that you can get. But then the heavy weapon, Circular Logic, is strand. It's going to take advantage of that damage buff. And if you can get Hatchling on it, that's even better. But any heavy you want to use is completely up to you. But I recommend Circular Logic. Now when it comes to the armor, Ashes to Assets, Strand Siphon, Kinetic Siphon. Ashes to Assets is going to gain you bonus super energy on grenade kills. Strand Siphon with rapid strand weapon final blows will create orbs of power. And same thing for Kinetic Siphon, rapid kinetic weapon final blows create orbs of power. Now for my arms armor, we have Firepower, your grenade final blows create orbs of power. Grenade Kickstart, when your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy. Additionally, your armor charge is consumed, and you gain additional grenade energy for each stack. And then Fastball. Now, when it comes to the chest piece, we have the solar damage resistance and arc damage resistance. And just to show you, I do have 2 arc on, so you can see solar, arc, and arc. Make it however you want. That arc damage is very lethal from in the Lost Sector. Every enemy pretty much uses arc damage, so just keep that in mind. If you want to run 3 arc mods, that could work out for you, but I do have 1 solar because there is some solar damage that you'll run into. But moving on from that, the leg armor is the exotic Lucky Pants, and you can see we have kinetic weapon surge, strand weapon surge, and better already. Better already allows your health to begin to regenerate immediately after picking up an orb of power, and then kinetic weapon surge and strand weapon surge are going to help you do increased damage when you pick up an orb of power with their respected weapon. So if I pick up an orb of power, my malfeasance is going to do increased damage, and if I pick up an orb of power, my strand weapon, which is circular logic, will do increased damage. Now I do want to note for Lucky Pants, this hand cannon's ready faster and gain increased accuracy and bonus damage. That's pretty much the main takeaway here. And kind of how you want to work this is, for example, let's say you're going to do damage to a champion or something. Make sure you have your auto rifle or whatever you're doing in your secondary slot or your heavy weapon. Hold that right before you switch to your hand cannon. That way, when you swamp over to your hand cannon, you'll have the illegally modded holster, and that will allow you to do increased damage and everything like that you're going to see through the gameplay. I will touch on it more when we get towards the gameplay, but just try to keep that gameplay style in mind. When it comes to the cloak, 2-time dilation mods, which is your decaying armor charge, has longer duration, and then bomber, which reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. So again, the main takeaways you need here are your barrier pulse rifle, or not barrier pulse rifle, barrier auto rifle, and then overload hand cannon. So now we're going to get into the gameplay. So as you spawn in, what I recommend doing here is just taking out your machine gun like you're going to see here, and kind of just get rid of all the red health bar enemies. It's going to help you do it really fast. And if you have harmonic siphon like I do, then it's going to generate orbs as well, and make sure you pick up those orbs, not only just for your super, but so you can pick up those armor charges. And that's going to play a huge part in when you see that door in the back open, because when that door opens, that's when the overload champion is going to spawn. But notice when I'm picking up these orbs, I get my armor charges, and you can see I put my decoy, and I go to stun the overload champion, and you can see with the kinetic weapon boost, with the illegal holster from Lucky Pants, and with all the other buffs that we have going, I can instantly shred that overload champion and then work my way through this room like nothing. You can see I did it within 40 seconds. That was pretty fast. Now when it comes to here, just worry about those 2 explosive shanks, nothing too crazy. But here is kind of where the gameplay starts to slow down a little bit, just because here you can do it however you want, but I recommend just getting rid of some AI here. But be careful, because there is going to be explosive shanks that spawn. I kind of forgot about them until I noticed I killed X amount of ads and I heard the audio you can see right there. So I threw my decoy down so it would blow up, but just be careful for those. I recommend going top right. You're going to see me do it anyway right now. But I was just trying to get rid of as many red health bars, that way the barrier champion, when he spawns in, doesn't have 50 enemies that are immune that I can't damage but they can shoot at me. And then you can see after I get rid of a good amount of AI, I'm going to try to target the servitor. And you can see this does get a little sloppy here because there's like 30 AI that are just all posted up to my left. So you can see I'm trying to focus on the barrier servitor. That way I don't have to worry about it anymore. But then I put a decoy down just to try to help. I knew I was going to bring a shield out, but at the same time you got to watch for these explosive shanks. You got to watch for these other AI that are doing solar damage and arc damage and everything. So you can see I end up finishing it right here. And you're also going to have a couple more AI, but watch towards your back left, kind of outside of this, I guess, what are these called, rockets or spaceships? I don't know what they were called in real life, I completely forgot. But kind of right outside of that housing towards the top left, there's going to be snipers and everything, so be careful for that. But you can see there's also going to be invisible vandals here that are going to be running around, or not vandals, marauders I should say. But up here is where I was talking about, where you want to be careful. Then you can see not only is there an overload, but there's like several snipers that are just hiding behind the wall. So you can see I throw some threadlings to help get rid of some enemies. And then I knew that the overload was still there, so I was like, let's just clear out some AI. But also on the right side, you're also going to have sniper shanks. Now those are very annoying. You're going to see in a little bit that they are going to start shooting at me. You can see here I kind of noticed them to the right side of my screen. And I was really just trying to get to this overload champion and start working on that. But you can see there's several AI that are just hiding back there, and it makes it really annoying whenever you want to try to coordinate something. So you can see here I'm just trying to pick them all off, that way the overload is the last enemy. Sure, you could use your threadlings, you can use your LMG, but you can see that's just how I did it. If you want to save time, by all means go ahead and just use your LMG to shoot the Shanks on the right side, and then use your LMG to clear out all the other AI, and then focus on the overload. Here you can see I go for the stun, and I almost die here. But I'm trying to juke out not only the overload, but also the heavy Shanks that are to my right here. But you can see hitting the overload champion with Malfeasance, doing some pretty good damage, get the stun, do enough damage here to where we can get the kill, finish him off with the machine gun, and then you can see here, if I want to make it easier for myself, I probably should have used the LMG to shoot the Shanks first and then go after the overload, but you live and you learn. But you can see once you clear out those enemies, you're safe here, you can do whatever you want, but the goal is to keep moving, so you're going to have to go jump on this kind of rock formation, and then jump up here. And this is where you're going to have your next set of AI, and it's going to be a barrier champion with a bunch of Shanks with solar shields. Now, this part does get very annoying, but you can see here, what you're ideally going to want to do if you're using this subclass is run up to them, put a decoy down, and then while they're all focusing on that decoy, you can go and just use your LMG, your hand cannon, whatever you want to do. And you can see here, I'm just trying to get a stun, that way I can have the AI focus on the decoy, and then I just easily burn the servitor right here. So you can see, I end up don't getting the kill instantly, but I ended up getting it nonetheless. Was a little scary right here because I thought I was gonna die, so I was trying to make sure I survived there. But once you clear out that group, this is gonna be your last part of the Lost Sector here, and this part does get very annoying just because of the amount of ads that they spawn, and they are gonna throw you another barrier servitor, so you are gonna have to deal with that. But you can see the kind of idea here is to try to deal as much damage as you can to the boss while also doing ad clear. I recommend just trying to get rid of as many red health bar enemies as you can. That way, instead of just solely doing damage at the boss, letting the red health bars run around, and then when that second wave spawns, that's when that servitor is going to spawn. So if you don't kill any of those ads, the servitor is going to help make all of them immune, and that's going to be very annoying. You can see he spawns with his own set of ads, but I was very much just targeting the boss right here, as you can see, and once he became immune, I was like, alright, I gotta start getting with some of these ads. Now you can see here, throwing grenades, super clutch. I knew I had my super. I was debating whether or not I wanted to use it yet, just because I knew the barrier servitor, it's kind of finicky, when you use your strand super on it. You can try to suspend and tangle and all that other stuff, but sometimes, if you're off by a millisecond or something, that's the difference between the barrier champion getting full health and, dying. So you can see I just opted to back up, and I knew I still had heavy, so you can see I switch over, try to get some ads, I try to deal with the enemies. I was going for the barrier servitor, but you can see he just keeps teleporting. So I do enough damage, and then I knew he was going to bring a shield out, break the shield with the auto rifle. Then I popped the super here, and I just wanted to get rid of the barrier champion, as you can see. And I was just spamming that attack. When he's lifted up in the air, it's kind of hard to hit exactly 100% of the time with that. So you can see I do some damage, and as I run away there, I pop a decoy, and then I know he's gonna focus on it, and then I timed that because I knew I had my heavy in my hand, that when I put the decoy, I was gonna switch weapons, bring out Malfeasance, and that increased damage from illegal holster was gonna proc from Lucky Pants, and I ended up getting the kill. So there you can see that's the Lost Sector done. 6 minutes. If you can farm this and you need an exotic, I highly recommend it. It's one of the better ones to do, to be honest. And hopefully we just get better Lost Sectors, because all the other Moon ones are pretty trash if you ask me. But that's going to do it for the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss another video. Playlist with all my guides will be popping up on screen right now. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.